brother Sharayah coming back with another daily dose session of daily edification. And I just got something I feel like the Spirit we're going to get into right now. So, the Spirit, but first and foremost, I want to give all thanks, honor, praise, and glory to the Father, Abba, Abba Nawa, Yahweh Ba, Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Waha, Kakudash. Okay? Now, like I said, we're just going to be going off the Spirit, and basically what we're going to go ahead and go with the topic. Probably in the video, I don't know, but the topic is going to be diligence. Do your diligence. You know? And just hopefully this be real, edifying to the body. Alright, so doing your diligence is very much important. You know, making sure, double checking sources, not just proving all things, not just taking someone's word. You know, making sure something actually exists, is in existence. You know, and it's not a facade. You know, it's like on the cartoons when back in the world or whatever, for the edification sake, they would cartoons would be in like the desert. Can't think of a certain one, but we've seen it before. They would be in the desert, dehydrated, dying. They will always give you that scenario, and pretty much as they're going and continue trying to go on, you know, they end up seeing something just come out of the blue. We just call it a mirage. You know, it'll be like it's an imagination. You know, and that's pretty much what people deal with in the real world. They think their imagination, and they allow to make things up, facts based off of that. So in the cartoon, that mirage will come about the same way with that imagination. And what they would do is they would go to, what would they do? Oh, that's water, and just keep going. Like we seen some water back there. No, they would go up to it. Common sense. Why? Because they think it's water. You know, they believe it's water. So if you believe it's water, don't it make sense to go up to it, especially if you need it? But in the logic in this world, especially with Jake, you know, we create these. Oh yeah, that's what it is. That's the answer based off of, you know, them imagining it and not making sure it's actually there. And they want to be able to have that as being the answer. But they don't make sure that's actually the answer. Why? How do I know they want to actually, how do you know they want to actually make sure they want to have that as their answer? Because they're claiming. They'll hear someone else saying it. That's obviously what they want to hear. And they'll just go on thinking that and probably telling people that. So the whole point is do your diligence. So my thing I'm getting into with this is they tell us we African American. For one, I done heard, it's always interesting. It's redundant, but it's only actually redundant if you don't have nothing to actually say, and it's just regurgitated, you know, regurgitated statement, a regurgitated statement as far as us being African American. So I done heard things like from a brother I was actually watching a couple of Sundays ago. I can't recall his name. I'm not sure of his name. Not too many brothers or sisters actually make their, mainly brothers, but brothers don't make their concern as brothers, but they don't really make their name known too much, like me. I felt the need to address that, you know, for the nation, not for vainglory. Okay, so speak to that. But anyway, it was a brother from the GMS Chicago camp, and he ended up mentioning the statement that how we're not African American. You know, it will never get old because our people would forever keep thinking this until Yahweh comes back, probably, more than likely. And it's going to be those that take that thinking to the grave. You know, that imagination, that mirage to the grave, because that's actually what it is when you actually go up to it and you see if it's real or not. And all those that have, we found out it wasn't real, it was a mirage. Now, I don't want to make this video too lengthy, but pretty much when you go in, so the thing he mentioned, so I'll get this out of the way before I get back to my point. He mentioned, well, this is a part of the point. But anyway, he ended up mentioning, you know, how can you be African? What country are you from? How can you be African and American at the same time? If you're African, okay, what country are you from? You can't just be African. Africa, then for one, Africa is like, for one, for two, or I should say, Africa is a continent. You can't be from the whole continent. It's not even a country, it's a continent. So you're from a whole, how you call it the whole continent? That makes no type of sense. Bunch of damn Edomites out here. Anyway, you know, and I was just like, that wasn't a redundant statement. I've never heard it like that. And I was like, you know what? That's a great, not to be hypocritical, start using that, but you know. So instead of doing that, obviously I referenced the brother, his statement. But anyway, so yeah, us that have actually went up to that so-called thought, which is actually imagination, we come to find and learn that it's been a mirage. That wasn't really water. We thirsty to know who we are. You want to be able to tell people. You want to be able to have that answer with you. Who are you? Oh, I'm black. I'm black and I'm proud. I'm African American. So we can tell our people want to have the answer of who they are, but they really don't, because if they did, they would be diligent about it. They heard someone tell them that, heard everybody else say that. The so-called white man told us that. He's a damn liar. He's a devil. Okay, which means which goes back to the that's Latin, Diablo, and then that takes you back to. It breaks down ultimately to mean deceiver. You gotta actually go into it and do your diligence. You know? Cunning. So that's how we know we can identify these things. But back to the point. Let's look it up. Back to the point. We went and finally looked into it. So the African American thing that's completely out the window when you go up to it. So they tell us we're from the whole continent. Now what's crazy is I had an incident or whatever. I'm trying to share some information or whatever, and I got back. Question being first put out there to get to stir some thoughts, some thinking. Well, who are you? I'm African. You're not African. I am African. How you African? Prove it. Because it never goes any further than that. Okay. There's so many ways to prove it. So much diligent research that you can go into it by proving it. So much just actual just thinking. You know, to just prove that is to not be solid and could possibly, it should never actually be your answer when asked, what's your nationality? Or what's your origin? What's your ancestry? You should never say that. That makes no sense. You're a whole continent. What country? Alright, so they tell us that, okay, now let's ride with that. Now, okay, you're African. Technically, we know, I don't gotta talk as if the people, as if we don't know. You should know on some level, obviously you're watching this video, that we're the Israelites. Okay, so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and Latinos, also called. are the descendants of the ancient Israelites. We are the Israelites. Now, okay, they did get us from Africa, especially the Southern Kingdom. Y'all found us in Africa. Now, if you want to actually claim that, in a sense, you technically could, because there's proof out there that Israel even acknowledges, which is, you really would rather roll with it like this, because it's up for debate whether or not Israel is an African country. It's a country on Africa, you know, because it's pretty much Northeast Africa. What they try to also say is, what would that be, Southwest Asia or Southeast Asia, one of those. But anyway, it will make sense to let them rock with that too, because when you actually look at it, that works for black people, so-called black people saying, okay, initially black people saying that we are the Israelites. Why? Because it's an African country. So you know, automatically, y'all by default could never be the Israelites, and we by default will obviously be, because it's a melanated place. It makes no sense. Now, obviously, Esau did originate from that area, you know. But that's not. He wasn't from the land of Israel. But that's going too far. Whole point being, when you actually go into it, we are not African American, man. That makes no sense at all. You can go to the Zondervan Dictionary and go to Ham, and it tells you that the African races, I should say, comes from the progenitor Ham, which gave birth to all the African races. Okay? Now, everybody of antiquity is melanated, but everybody of antiquity, because Esau is really the youngest people on the planet. Youngest of his kind. Everybody was melanated before him. But anyway, what was my train of thought? What was I saying? Ham. He gave birth to all the African races. When you go to Ham and you look it up, that's what it tells you. So African races being Cush. Their name in antiquity was Cush, the Ethiopians' name. But now they're called the Ethiopians. And we know the Bible to be 100% true, because isn't Ethiopians a race? Aren't Ethiopians a race? The people? You got Cushites in there, and you got Ethiopians in there. They never changed their name, so they gave it away right there. Then you got, you can go do, just point in the video, go do your diligence and find out more African races, actual races. Yeah, they're just a dark people like us. That's all. That's the only thing. But we're not the same people. We don't come from them. We come from Shem. So, but the whole point, when you go into Ham, it tells you that Ham became the progenitor, meaning as Jake says, the sperm donor or whatever of the Africans, not the Negroes. So, of all the dark races, it said all the African races, not the Negroes. But so it tells you right there we aren't African. It don't go on to tell you like who we are, but you just have to know, okay, we somebody special.